It's been a long freaking time since we've seen anything from Silicon Knights, and we're all hoping the company can deliver, and I'm sure they will, you guys. I'm getting the look from the side here. A game as enjoyable as Eternal Darkness. So here's Too Human, SK's Xbox 360 exclusive action RPG. Let's take a look. Ryan Lavagetes, it is your turn.
Hi, Dennis. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome. So for those of us who don't know, tell us a little bit about Too Human, what it is, how it's set up.
Too Human is a game where you play the cybernetic god Baldur, charged with the defense of mankind against an army of machines trying to wipe everyone out. And it's a really interesting game, unique in the fact that we infuse action with RPG. And it's a unique experience because you look at it, at first it looks like an action game, but when you play it, you realize it's a deep RPG. Fused together, it's an experience like no other. So I think gamers are really going to enjoy that quite a bit.
I know story is really important to you guys, so tell us a little bit about the background of Too Human, a little bit about the mythology of the game.
Yeah, it's Too Human is a retelling of Norse mythology from a cyclic history background. So imagine that the roots of Norse mythology really occurred 20,000 years ago in the sci-fi setting, and all that remains is this myth that we know today. So we're trying to tell that story from a very different perspective from the gamers, and I think they'll really enjoy it. So all the gods in the pantheon are there, all the monsters are machines, all the gods are cybernetically enhanced humans. So it's very, very different.
So tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here. Walk us through some of the basic gameplay.
What you're seeing here is Justin, who's playing right now. He's playing the Berserker, and the Berserker is a very interesting character because he's very, very fast at melee, and you're seeing him doing some juggles and some fierce attacks. And essentially, what he's able to show there by shooting the guy in the air, holding him up, is you have this economy where your combo meter is right there at number 2. The higher that goes, the faster your character is, the faster he moves and attacks, and the more experience you get. So there's this really interesting dichotomy of playing the game, balancing between whether you want to use your ruiners to use your powers or continue to build that up as you play.
Now, I noticed when he was fighting there, we definitely saw some loot dropping. I know that's a big part of the game.
It is.
So tell us a little bit about what gamers can expect in terms of items and upgrades and armor as they play through.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of different combinations. The loot in Too Human is extraordinarily expansive, and the permutations and combinations are really, really high. I've been playing the game for a long time now, and I still haven't even come close to exhausting all the possibilities. And I think for a console game, the depth in Too Human is pretty unparalleled, and we haven't seen anything come close to touching it in quite a while. And so the first time through, you get the average playthrough of 10 to 15 hours or so. But to get to collect all the loot, there is so much replayability. I think gamers are going to be really excited about that.
I just have a really quick question. You had mentioned that you run into the gods.
Yes.
And things of that nature in the game. Are they boss battles, or do they help you, or what's the situation there?
Well, that'd be giving away too much.
Oh,
but,
come on, Dennis.
I hate talking
Dennis,
about
please.
Spoiler alert. In the mythology, there are some gods who are enemies and some who aren't. So obviously Loki, who is at first Aesir, even in the mythology turns on the gods. So there's going to be setups like that. If you know a little bit of Norse mythology, you can really have a good understanding what's coming, but it doesn't give away, it's not necessary, and I really, just as much as I want to and want to talk about it, I love talking about it, we just don't like to give story spoilers away.
All right, well, so as long as you would kind of slightly recommend that if you're going to play this, you don't have to go out and read a history book on it, but, maybe do a little research.
Don't need to at all.
Don't
need to at all.
An extra
Not even a little bit.
I can't even squeeze it out of you, can I?
No,
Once you play Too Human, you'll know
Right.
everything you need to know about Norse mythology. Right?
Well, you don't even need to know anything about Norse mythology. That's the thing.
The third grade, right after this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's not necessary. I think if you look at Silicon Knights games in our history, Eternal Darkness, Legacy of Kain, we do a lot of research into mythologies, and we think mythologies really ground games. And it's not necessary that you understand things, but it gives a firm understanding of things that gamers can relate to. And it's these kind of mythoses that we hope will help elevate video games to the 8th art. And we're big believers in the art form, and we really want to elevate as much as we can. So that's why you're seeing Too Human as a mix of a lot of cinemas, a lot of gameplay, a lot of audio, a lot of artwork, and a lot of technology. Just all those together, we think really make it special.
So what are some of the other classes that we can play? We've seen the Berserker here. What else can we see in the game?
So the Berserker is the sort of high damage dealing archetype, really fast, really frantic. You've got the Champion, who excels in critical strikes, air combat, Defender, who's your tank, Commando, who's your shooter, and the Bioengineer, who is your fighting healing class.
And there's definitely some co-op available in the game. Are there any like matchups that you can recommend for a good co-op experience, class-wise?
Oh, they all work.
I would definitely say Berserker and Bioengineer. That's a killer combination.
Yeah.
And then probably Defender and Commando.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to recommend Commander and Defender because there's nothing. I really like. There's one. The Defender himself is really a tough class, but he's got these unique. This one spider that's just like fires lasers and takes things out for you, and then the Commando's got an anti-missile spider, and so when all the missiles are coming in, they're really annoying. You just drop the spider and you just see him shooting down all the missiles for you. It's like the best thing ever.
So I know the demo just came out. How's it been received? People been downloading it?
It has been awesome. The numbers are huge. We're really excited, and looking at the reception, it's been extraordinarily positive. The demo's out there. The new website's up. The game's coming out August 19th. We're extraordinarily excited. It's been a really good week actually.
Oh, good.
So do you have like a favorite item in the game? Favorite weapon?
Oh yeah, there's. I guess it's going to come down to me for the anti-missile spider. Actually, I really like that. That for me. That's one of the big ones.
Now I know that I'd gotten some hands-on time with this, and you and I didn't necessarily get into a debate, but I had mentioned that the camera for me was a little bit,
Yep.
something that was hard for me to get used to, just because it was
Yep.
like almost semi-locked. What has the response been on the show floor for that?
The response has generally been pretty good, and I equate the introduction of our camera system almost like automatic transmission. When automatic transmission was introduced into automobiles, a lot of people really didn't like it at first because they want that control, they want that exacting nature of it, but we're really strong believers of when you add camera control and you're doing combat at the same time, there's this level of complexity that just makes games harder. And once people understand how the camera works, it works like a radar. So your biggest threats are always on screen. So what happens is the camera will turn when you don't expect it, but once you understand the game, you realize, oh, it needed to turn there because that troll is much more dangerous than this goblin. And so that's how it works. Once you figure that out, people are like, oh, I get it.
So what's the learning curve on that, roughly?
It's pretty quick.
Fast.
Once I would say, once you're through the first level and halfway through the second, you start to get what the camera's doing, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand now. And that's been through focus testing. That's generally what it's been like. So it's new. Not only does it have new gameplay elements and new fusions, but this camera itself is very, very new as well. There's a lot of things that are really different about 2 Human, which I think why it's been so hard to describe to the audience and stuff. But I think if people are looking for a different experience on the Xbox 360 where you can't get anywhere else, 2 Human is your best bet.
Yeah, I think for me, part of it was when I played it was not only the camera, but that horizontal attack, which is also very unique. So when you have both of those happening at once, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. But once you get the hang of it, it's pretty fluid, I thought.
Yep, absolutely. And it's one of those games where you can't just watch a video and understand what's going on. You got to play it and you got to interact with it.
So tell us about this boss battle we got going on here.
So this is a troll, actually, not a boss battle. And here Justin has taken off all his armor, and if he can balance the camera and surf on him and then attack at the right time, he'll do an insta-kill here, and he'll just take the troll out instantly. And you'll find all these kind of tricks throughout the game everywhere, and we're not explicit about it, but we really believe that through a lot of dynamic gameplay that you'll find the depth in 2 Human, and there's a lot to dig. The rabbit hole in 2 Human is very, very deep.
Well, why don't you keep playing, and then we're going to move on to mysterious reader questions.
Sounds good, I can't wait.
Are you excited? Okay, so question 1, Atomics wants to know, can you guys make Eternal Darkness 2? That's the question.
Well, that's an easy question to answer, and is yes, we can.
It's totally possible.
It is possible.
It is
All right, I'm
totally
going to follow
possible.
that up with my own. Are you going to? Are you any plans in the future?
We get asked that all the time, and Silicon Knights, our perspective on games is pretty unique. We have this thing that we're really conscious about, and it's called the curse of success. And if you look at all of our games, Legacy of Kain, Eternal Darkness, 2 Human, we're trying to be known for creative, different games, but not get locked into always making the same game every time. So we've had a lot of people asking, please do Eternal Darkness 2. We've actually had a lot of people, please do another Legacy of Kain. And you have these shifts, but we want to create signature products where we're happy with and we don't feel burnt out on. For a while we were known for horror, now we're going to be known for RPGs with 2 Human. And our next game that we haven't talked about yet is going to be totally different than anything else we've done as well. And but is Eternal Darkness a possibility? Absolutely. We're thinking about it, but there's no announcements.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you for being, a little hesitant about that. I mean, video games are notorious for having, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're,
Yeah,
number 10.
we think it's a big problem with the industry, actually.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, we want to stay creative as possible, so that's our goal.
But Too Human planned as a trilogy, right?
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
we're definitely going to see another Too Human game.
We are. The theme of the first game is discovery. The theme of the second game is revenge, and the theme of the third game is enlightenment. You'll see them, and we're going to be taking gamers for a wild ride on this one. So can't wait.
We're coming to a close here. So is there anything that maybe we haven't asked that you want to mention and have us see, or Ryan, any last questions?
No, Jess asked my question.
Oh, sorry.
No, that was a good one.
Thanks.
Geez, I guess I'll just finish off with
Presents, Dennis.
What's that?
Presents you want to give us in game.
Presents. Well, I think the one thing that people are really we're gonna run a segment at some point. We're gonna make a little video, 10 things you don't know about Too Human, but the combat complexity is actually pretty high in Too Human. Mm-hmm. And when you see enemies with shields, if you do finishers, you'll take them out really quickly. And at first people think it's an action game, then they realize the depth of the RPG. Once you start combining those, it really is a true fusion. So when you pick up the demo and you're playing the demo, download it over Xbox Live. We have all kinds of Easter eggs, and we thought people take a couple weeks to figure it out. Within one day, all the classes are opened up now. People know how to play them. But try it, have fun. But there's a lot of depth there, and we look forward to the feedback. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys, for showing up. It's nice to see you again.
Always
I'm
good to see
looking
you
forward
guys.
to playing the game very soon. I know I will. Livewire will return in just a bit.
And